Thank you, Maisel. Good morning, everyone. I am Maria Ibarra, Business Services Manager for Caltrans District 11. Welcome to the first session of our How to Do Business 2.0 series. This 2.0 series was developed to take one topic mentioned in our original How to Do Business workshop overview and break it down further in more depth for your understanding. Today's topic of discussion will focus on the ins and outs of certifications Caltrans recognized. So if you were unable to join us during our original How to Do Business workshop last month or sometime last year, I'd like to briefly go over which certifications Caltrans recognized. Caltrans recognized the following certifications: small business, micro business, small business for the purpose of public works, DBE and DBE. Through the state of California, the Department of General Services certifies for the small business certification, which also includes the micro and the small business for the purpose of public works, and the disabled veteran business enterprise, or DBE. Caltrans also recognizes the disadvantaged business enterprise, or DBE certification, that is certified through any of the 10 agencies within the California Unified Certification Program, also known as CUCP. So there are 10 agencies that process the certification, the DBE certification, including Caltrans, specifically the Office of Civil Rights. We have the San Francisco Bay Area Rapid Transit, or BART, San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency, Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority. We have San Mateo County Transit District, a City of Fresno, LA County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, or also known as LA Metro. We have City of Los Angeles. We have the San Diego County Airport Authority and the San Francisco International Airport. Currently, the state-funded contracts, Caltrans has an overall goal of 5% utilization of DBE certified firms and 25% of certified small businesses, which includes, again, the micro and the small business for the purpose of public works. With regard to federally funded contracts, Caltrans' goal is 17.6 utilization of DBE certified firms. So by taking that first step in getting your company certified, you're helping us reach our goals by increasing the pool of ready, willing, and able businesses. As mentioned previously, Caltrans is one of the 10 certifying agencies for the DBE certification. So our Office of Civil Rights is the division within Caltrans that is primarily responsible for the DBE certification process. This morning, we have the pleasure of having the subject matter expertise of Aisha Copeland from the Office of Civil Rights to talk to us about the DBE certification. With that said, let's welcome Aisha Copeland from OCR. Hi, Aisha. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Hello, and how is everybody doing today? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my computer on. One quick second. So I'm trying to go to the next slide. My PowerPoint is not showing here. One moment. Okay, thank you. Okay, hello and welcome to the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Workshop. Again, my name is Aisha Copeland and I'm with Caltrans, the Office of Civil Rights Branch. Before we get started, I do want to reintroduce Danella Reynolds. She will be answering all questions through the Q&A chat box during this presentation. She will also be available at the end of the presentation for any questions. So let's get started. To become a disadvantaged business enterprise, or what we like to call a DBE, you must first apply, then you will have to be approved for the program. The DBE certification is a federal certification which applies to contracts that have any amount of federal funding. To provide you with a better understanding, in today's presentation, I'm going to go over the DBE program, the California Unified Certification Program, eligibility requirements, application processing, remaining in good standing, and frequently asked questions. The DBE program was established by Congress in 1982 to ensure non-discrimination in the award and administration of the U.S. DOT-assisted contracts, to help remove barriers to the participation of DBEs in the U.S. DOT-assisted contracts, and to assist the development of firms that can compete successfully in the marketplace outside of the DBE program. Ultimately, the primary goal and objective of the DBE program is to level the playing field by providing small businesses owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals a fair opportunity to compete for federally funded transportation contracts. Moving on to what is a disadvantaged business enterprise. A DBE is a for-profit small business that is at least 51% owned by one or more individuals who are both socially and economically disadvantaged. For example, a corporation. Individuals must own at least 51% of each class of voting stock outstanding and 51% of the aggregate of all stock outstanding. In addition to the 51% ownership, the socially and economically disadvantaged owner must have management control of daily business operations. The next two slides are some of the DBE program objectives. I will highlight a few from each slide. One objective is to create a level playing field on which DBEs can compete for federally assisted contracts. Another from this slide is to ensure that the department's DBE program is narrowly tailored in accordance with the applicable law. In addition to the previous two objectives, the DBE program also is here to help remove barriers to the participation of DBEs not in DOT-assisted contracts, and to also promote the use of DBEs in all types of federally assisted contracts and procurement activities conducted by recipients. Now, here are some of the benefits of the DBE certification. DBE certification is recognized by 600 local agencies in California. It expands opportunities to participate in federally funded contracts, and you become accessible to prime contractors needing to fulfill DBE participation goal requirements. Then there's the listing in the CUCP database, which is available to all state agencies and the general public. In addition, it increases opportunities to network at events such as procurement fairs and pre-bids. It also provides additional training. There are currently 4 oversight agencies. These include the U.S. Department of Transportation, USDOT, the Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, Federal Transit Administration, FTA, and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. The next few slides will cover the roles and responsibilities of the U.S. DOT, FHWA, FTA, and Caltrans. So for the U.S. DOT, their roles and responsibilities are developing rules and regulations for the DBE program, to provide guidance and oversight, and reviewing appeals on certification decisions. The roles and responsibilities for FHWA and FTA are direct oversight over the state DOTs, offer technical assistance and support, and also monitor and enforce DBE program requirements in the U.S. DOT-assisted contracts. So the roles for Caltrans and the responsibilities are to certify eligible DBE firms, calculate overall DBE participation goal, establish contract-specific DBE goals where applicable, and also monitor and enforce DBE program requirements on the U.S. DOT-assisted contracts. Next, we will talk about the California Unified Certification Program, also known as the CUCP. This is an online database for the DBE program. It is a public directory where your firm's profile will be available to state and local agencies, primes, and also including the public. There are currently 10 certifying agencies in the CUCP, which are listed on the next slide. While Caltrans certifies firms throughout the state, the other agencies are listed here, and they provide DBE certification in their local geographic area. Some of these include the Bay Area Rapid Transit, which is BART, City of Fresno, and also the City of Los Angeles. Moving on to DBE eligibility. The following 6 requirements must be provided by a DBE applicant. That is ownership, control, social and economic disadvantage, independence, personal net worth, and business size standard. Let's dive deeper into each eligibility requirement. Ownership. A firm must be 51% owned by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. Social and economic disadvantage. This refers to the 6 presumptive groups who are considered disadvantaged by the federal government. These include Asian Pacific Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, Subcontinent Asian Americans, and women. If you do not fall within one of these presumptive groups, you can submit a narrative explaining how you are socially and economically disadvantaged. Control. The 51% owner must possess the required license or credential, if required by law, to own and control a certain type of firm. This means if you have an engineering firm with 3 owners, but only one holds the required license, that specific person must have management control of daily business operations. Independence. Only an independent business may be certified as a DBE. This means that the business cannot be dependent on another firm to provide personnel, facilities, equipment, or financial support. Personal net worth. The 51% majority owner must not exceed a personal net worth of $1.32 million. Your primary residence would not be included in this amount, nor would the value of your business. Business size standard. A firm's 3-year gross receipts average must not exceed $26.29 million. Now that we have discussed the eligibility requirements, let's take a look at where to go to find the DBE application. From the Caltrans homepage at www.dot.ca.gov, you can find information about the DBE program. By navigating to the Office of Civil Rights or the OCR webpage, one of the ways that you can get there is by clicking the program's icon at the top of the Caltrans homepage. From that icon, you will be, after clicking that icon, you will come to this page. From here, you would like to click Civil Rights. Which will bring you to this page. There are informational links for both the disadvantaged business enterprise and the disadvantaged veteran business enterprise. Click the disadvantaged business enterprise link. Under How Do I, you are going to click Become DBE Certified. Once you scroll down, you will be able to see the link to the application and the personal net worth statement. If for some reason you have trouble navigating our website, assistance is definitely available. I will be providing that information later in this presentation. We will now review each page of the DBE application, highlighting some of the most important sections. Please keep in mind, due to the current pandemic, processing times may be delayed. However, the usual processing time is about 90 days after your application is deemed complete. If you submit your application and it is not considered complete, the certification branch will reach out to you to provide the required information. The time clock will start once all required information is received. If you do receive a letter requiring additional documentation, just be sure you submit the required documents within the allotted time frame. This slide shows a flow chart of the DBE application process. You will receive a copy of this presentation in a follow-up email, so you will be able to review this slide more in detail. Let's start with the application processing and how it works. The application is first assigned to a certification analyst. Then the analyst will review the application and determine if additional clarification or documentation is needed. A site visit will then be scheduled and conducted. The analyst will then conduct a final review of the record and make eligibility recommendation. Then the certification determination is completed. The application includes instructions as well as a checklist of documents you will need to have available to complete your application. You will use this checklist to cross-reference all information before submitting your application. Please make sure that you use NA or non-applicable for any sections that do not apply to you. So before we review the application, I want you to know that it is user-friendly and easy to understand. However, it is very lengthy. Be sure to read through it thoroughly so you understand what each section is asking. On the first page of the DBE certification application, you will enter general information in Section 1. And towards the bottom of this page in Section 2 is where you begin to describe your business profile, beginning with applicable NAICS codes. NAICS is an acronym for North American Industry Classification Codes. These codes are required for application and based on the firm's primary business activity. You will need to visit www.naics.com and find the applicable codes to list on your application. Work codes, they are assigned by Caltrans under the authority of 49 CFR 2671. Please keep in mind additional NAICS codes and work codes can be added after being certified. Please submit all your requests to our DBE certification office. This page of the application is asking you to provide your firm's tax ID, business structure, number of employees, and gross receipts. Towards the bottom of this page, under Section B, you will need to provide if your firm shares office space, staff, equipment, or other resources with another firm. Also, be sure to check the appropriate boxes for all questions and don't leave anything blank. This page of the application, under Section A, you will need to define the ownership interests of the firm, class of stock if applicable, initial investments, and how you obtain your ownership in the firm. Towards the bottom of this page, under Section B, you will need to describe family relationships with any other owners of the firm, if applicable, including if any immediate family members own, manage, or are employed by or associated with any firms that do similar type of work that your firm does. Remember, don't leave any of the answers blank, and if questions do not apply, please indicate NA or non-applicable. This page of the application is for you to include additional owners of the firm. It is always a good idea to make copies of your application if there are multiple owners. Again, you always want to mark NA if any questions do not apply to you. On this page of the application, Section A is for corporations only. This is where you would list officers and board of directors. Towards the bottom of this page in Section B, it is asking you to identify controlling roles of your firm's key personnel. At the top of this page in your application, it allows you to add any additional key personnel controlling roles in the firm. The bottom of this page is asking you to identify major equipment and/or vehicles used by the firm, including current value, and identify if the vehicles or equipment are owned or leased. It is also asking you to identify office space owned or leased by the firm, including second locations or storage facilities. On this page of the application, it wants you to identify your firm's banking information. Sources of loans to your firm. This includes both private parties and financial institutions. Contributions or transfers of assets between the firm and any owners or non-owners over the past 2 years. All current licenses or permits held by any owner and or employee of the firm. If applicable, this page of the application wants you to list 2 things: the 3 largest contracts by your firm in the past 3 years, and also the 3 largest active jobs on which your firm is currently working. If you are applying for airport concession disabled business enterprise, you will also need to complete the bottom portion of this page. This page of the application is the affidavit of certification for the majority owners. This form must be completed by each owner whose disadvantaged status is relied on to determine certification eligibility. Both the application and personal net worth statement are required to be notarized. This will be the only cost incurred during the process. Please remember that it is very, very important to sign, date, and have the form notarized before submitting. Along with the application, you will need to submit your personal net worth statement, also known as a PNW. The next few slides will give you a better understanding of a PNW. The PNW is a supplement to the application and is required. It should include his or her own share of assets held separately or jointly or as community property with individual's spouse. An individual's PNW must not exceed $1.32 million in order to be eligible for the DBE program. On the first page of the PNW, you will need to list all assets and liabilities at the current fair market value based on the date the form is completed. All assets will be listed on the left side, and all liabilities will be listed on the right. Some examples of assets are cash, retirement accounts, and real estate. Some examples of liabilities are mortgages on real estate, loans on life insurance, and unpaid taxes. On page 2 of the PNW, there will be an area for you to list stocks, bonds, or retirement account information. Include additional real estate properties, investment properties, or other property leased or rented for business purposes. There will also be a place for you to list life insurance policy information and beneficiary information. On the third page of the PNW, you should always include any other personal or assets not previously listed, such as automobiles, recreation vehicles, motorcycles, things of that nature. List any additional businesses, such as sole proprietors, general partnerships, joint ventures. List other liabilities and or unpaid taxes in detail. And include any information regarding the transfer of assets within the last 2 years to a spouse, domestic partner, relative, or entity in which you have an ownership interest. Lastly, Please note your application will not be accepted without a signed and notarized P&W. Now that you have completed your application and P&W, you are ready to submit your application. However, before submitting, be sure to use the supporting documents checklist as a reference when preparing your application. Also, be sure that you have completed each section. Don't forget to indicate non-applicable or NA in the sections that don't apply. Be sure to sign, date, and notarize both the application and the P&W. And if you have any questions, you may always contact our certification branch by email or phone. Now, let's discuss interstate certifications. There are a few things to keep in mind. Firms must be certified in their home state before seeking certification in another state. The California certifying agency can request the on-site report from the home state. Out-of-state business must submit and complete a complete package of all documents submitted to their home state. Interstate certifications is not an automatic reciprocity. Each state must review other states' determinations and other documentation. Moving on to denial of certification. Denials of certification may be applied if you believe all facts have not been considered. Written appeals must be submitted within 90 days of the date of the denial letter. Certification denials are appealable to the USDOT, not the certifying agency. The following will need to be explained: why the certification decision was erroneous, which significant facts were not considered by the certifying agency, and which regulatory provision was improperly implied. Now, remaining in good standing as a certified DBE. It is your responsibility to notify the certifying agency of any changes. It is your responsibility to make sure your contact information is correct and up to date. It is also your responsibility to complete annual update affidavits. Annual update affidavits are completed annually. Firms submit a no-change affidavit advising there haven't been any material changes in the firm's circumstance that would affect its eligibility requirement. Firms will also be asked to submit the prior year tax returns. The 5-year annual update affidavits are completed every 5 years to continue with the current certification. Firms will again submit a no-change affidavit advising there haven't been any material changes in the firm's circumstances that would affect its eligibility. Firms must also submit their 3-year tax returns, personal net worth statement. The 5-year review is a more thorough process. The next few slides will cover suspensions. Certifying agencies may suspend a firm's DBE certification for incarceration or death of a disadvantaged owner, material change affecting the DBE certification eligibility, failing to notify the certifying agency in writing of any material change in circumstance, or fails to timely file an affidavit of no change in supporting documents such as taxes. Effects of suspension. Just to cover a couple, not being eligible to receive credit toward a DBE contract goal on a new contract. And also the work would not count towards Caltrans' overall annual DBE participation goal. However, if the suspension occurred during a contract, the work may be able to be counted. Now let's discuss the resolution of suspension. If the DBE believes it's no longer eligible, it may voluntarily withdraw from the program. If the DBE believes its eligibility should be reinstated, it must provide information to support that it maintains eligibility under the changed circumstances. A certifying agency must make an eligibility determination within 30 days of receiving information from a suspended DBE. The decision to suspend a DBE is not appealable to the U.S. DOT. The following two slides are frequently asked questions. What I will do is go over a few from each slide. Remember, you will be receiving this PowerPoint, so please make sure you read through the rest of the frequently asked questions when you have an opportunity. The first bullet point, is there a fee for applying? No, the only cost associated with the certification is notarizing and the postage for your application. The fourth bullet point, how long does a DBE certification process take? Decisions on applications for certifications are completed within 90 days of receiving all required information. Then the last bullet point on this slide, does DBE certification expire? No, the DBE certification does not expire. So for a couple of questions on this page, I am an out-of-state business looking to work in California. Can I apply for a DBE certification? Yes, however, you must first be certified in your home state before you can apply to be a DBE certified in California. Another question, can I use a DBE application form to apply as an airport concession disabled business enterprise? Yes, you can. Once you are DBE certified, make sure that you're proactive, educate yourself, market your business, network, and be prepared. This slide here shows some resources. Remember, our certification branch is here to help you. If you have any questions, you may reach out to our certification branch Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This does conclude the presentation. I do want to say thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the DBE certification. I am going to go ahead and pass it over to Danella for any additional questions that you may have. Danella?
Hi everyone, my name is Danella Reynolds. I'm a certification analyst, and if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I did want to mention, if you wanted to ask your question verbally, you can raise your hand and I can unmute you.
And I also wanted to add, so the certification analyst of the day, the certification analysts are the AOD of the day on different days. So the reason for that is we always want to be available for your questions. If you do have any questions on the DBE application, You can call the 916-324-1700. From time to time, you may need to leave a message because we do get a high volume of calls sometimes. Also, our email is dbe.certification@dot.ca.gov. Like Aisha mentioned, you do want to ensure that you sign, date, and notarize the application and the personal net worth statement. The personal net worth statement, if you have questions on that, you can call us, but we can't actually tell you what to put on your personal net worth statement, but we can help guide you. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. The presentation was designed to be user-friendly and to hopefully guide you through the DBE certification process. I hope that if you do like the program and you think the program could be helpful to your business, that you do submit an application for review. With that, does anybody have any questions?
Hi, Janelle. It looks like I don't have anyone raising their hand, but I did have someone applaud. So with that said, I think there's no questions on my end.
Okay, well, that's great. Aisha did a great job on the presentation. And again, we're here for you. So if you do have any questions, please call or email us. And today I just happen to be the analyst of the day, so if you do have any questions, you will be talking directly to me. So if there's no questions, I guess we'll go back to Lucille.
We can bring it back to Maria, but I think Aisha wanted to announce something real quick before we pass it back to Maria. Aisha?
Sure. Yes, I did want to also give just a reminder or an invitation. We are going to be hosting a DBE Summit. It is going to be upcoming, so you can always take a look on our calendar, our Caltrans calendar, for that information. It will be providing information on just the DBE program and how to break through different barriers of becoming a DBE. So with that, thank you again. Maria, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Danella, and thank you, Aisha. Thank you so much for all this beneficial information. And thank you to all our attendees for joining us today. We hope that the information from today's presentation benefited everyone. We would love to hear your feedback so we know how we can further improve our future events. So please complete the one minute survey that will be prompted as soon as you exit this session. This includes any suggestions on a preferred topic for our future How to Do Business 2.0 series. We truly value your opinion as the How to Do Business 2.0 series developed from a suggestion provided from a survey in our original workshop. So we listen to your feedback. And before you exit this session, I would like to invite you all to our afternoon session that will focus now on the small business and the DBE certifications. To register for this session, please visit the link on the slide. And well, I believe Maisel is also going to provide that link in the chat. And if you have any further questions or would like an opportunity to meet with our small business team here at District 11, we can schedule a one-to-one meeting with you. You may contact us at d11.smallbusiness at dot.ca.gov. And we hope to see you this afternoon. Otherwise, please have a wonderful day. Thank you.